On this episode of Lapeef, Let's Talk.
All right,
okay, Logic.
Go ahead.
So most of the time when ladies are physically attractive, physically beautiful, you are liked because you look fuckable. Absolutely. Duh. What? What the fuck? When a man first sees you, like she said, there's no way he's thinking she looks like we can work out conflict. It just doesn't make any sense. That's not how the men I've been around and that I know. That's just not the first thought when you see a beautiful woman, or when you're like getting to know them. Let's say in the first few times and speaking with them, and you making your judgment whether you like them. Because it says you are liked, meaning people want you around, you are liked. And you are liked because they like looking at you.
We were talking about young men specifically. I said an 18-year-old doesn't need to be talking about a helpmate. I don't think that's not what I agree with. I don't think it's necessary. If you're in college, you join the service, you're young, and you're living your life and you're trying to figure things out, there's nothing wrong with dating. You're not the majority. If we were to take a poll right here on this panel and say, hey, do any of y'all brothers regret in between the ages of 18 and 21 dating around? I don't know that they would say, yeah, I would take back all of the sex I've had so I can be more.
You know what the worst part about this conversation is because I agree, I'm not the majority. You got one thing right. The majority of people are complaining about what the current circumstances are happening in society today. The majority of people are walking around with a venereal disease. That's a fact. The majority of people are having problems with family court. The majority of people are complaining about modern women. The majority of the people think more like you. So what do you think that this is supposed to be like?
How the majority of people think like me now, or me as a young man? Which one? Because we're talking about the difference between young men, once again.
No. That's not what we're talking about. We're talking about what you just said about young men should be out there enjoying having sex and dating and doing all these different things. What he's asking you is, what do you think is more productive for our community? Is it dating around and not necessarily having dick discipline, or like what Anton said earlier in the conversation, where it's like, nah, I should be looking at these women as a tool. How can
you know what, Quest? We talk so much about what's wrong with the Black community. We all can agree the biggest way to build wealth within the Black community is to have households that are together, married, building wealth. We look to other cultures and we say, okay, they doing it right. How did they do it? And they're doing it the opposite of what you just described.
Right.
But then you're saying that this makes sense.
You got to see where he's coming from, Rio, on this one. Like he got a point. He's spot on right now.
Of course, I understand what he's saying. What I'm saying is, I'm just being realistic. Like, we all like to get up here and talk like we perfect and this is what we need to be doing.
No, I don't.
But what I'm saying is, I'm trying to be more or less relatable to the youth. And we were talking about
me too, and that's why I live my life like an open book, and I advocate for people to live it the way I live it, because that's the right way to go about doing it. We know that kids are more successful in two-parent households.
Are we responding to Quest as a team, or do I?
No, I'm talking my shit because I'm tired of people trying to be a representation and have a voice when they should probably, in certain situations, no disrespect, sit back, listen, because you ain't got the answer, Sway. Not for this one. I mean, yeah, we can give our opinion, but in reality, when we talking about what people should do, I'm gonna say don't do what you saying right now. I'm gonna tell people
I gotta keep
be relatable, but
hold on, Logic.
Who do you have?
Don't do what he's saying when it comes to being successful, building wealth, building families, raising children. It is all the opposite of what he's saying is what you have to do in order to make sure that you build a strong community. And the strong communities, it starts with the men. right? If you want to look at the state of any community, all you got to do is look at the men. It starts with leadership. We going to have to take our communities back by first being a reflection of the thing that we want to see. And that's why I always say that I am the man that I would want my daughter to marry. I'm not going to tell y'all to do nothing different than what I'm doing. And that's why I live my life like an open book. Do the opposite of what he's saying. If you really want to have a strong community, if you want to have great kids, and I'm not saying that your kid can't be great, but if you want to give your kid a greater chance to be successful and ultimately have a stronger possibility of building a great community, do the opposite. That's all I'm saying. Y'all can have a panel. I don't want to talk no more right now.
I appreciate you unpacking all of that, but that's not the question that I was answering. The original question that I was answering was, most of the time when ladies are physically beautiful, you are liked because you look fuckable. All I did was agree with that statement. And I said even more so, when you meet a person and all you at that point is you have them at face value. You're looking through your eyes and you see whether or not you're attracted to that person. And for me, it's not that I'm thinking, and granted, I'm not on the dating market at this point. So let me just say in my past, it's not that I'm thinking, oh, let me figure out what her value system is she compatible, and how does she resolve conflict? When I'm looking at an attractive woman, I think that way when we start to date. You said that you never dated, so we can't even relate on that. But when we start to date, that's when I'm thinking that. But all the woman said is when somebody thinks that you look physically beautiful, that was it. So it's not that deep. Like, you building communities. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about when I see a beautiful woman, what am I thinking? That's it. And then I also said,
hold on, Quest, hold on.
And then I also said, young men who are not in position to start families. Because you, even yourself, as well as a number of other people, if I'm in college, I just started my freshman year. Where am I started a family at? In the dorm?
So stop saying that you just answered the question that's on the thing. You changed the narrative by adding additional context, and that's what I addressed. Don't run in the victim Olympics. You changed the narrative. I addressed specifically what you said. That's why we went down that rabbit hole. That's it.
I'm telling you what my intention is behind my words. You can't tell me what they are. I can tell you what they are. So all I'm saying is this. If we want to talk about it, having a conversation or build a dialogue about how we can fix our communities, then that's one thing. But the context that I was speaking is based upon the question that's at the bottom of the screen. And I made an example about young men.
Hey, Gerald, I want to add one thing to lighten this up, though. Hey, Rio.
We'll go to the ladies after live.
Hey, Rio.
Yeah.
What's up, brother? What you doing, right? Being on that table.
All right, y'all. We'll go to the ladies. Gentlemen, with all due respect, let's go and let the ladies cook without interruption. Whichever lady want to go first. Go ahead, Courtney. And then we'll go to Kayla. Okay, we can go to Kayla and then Courtney. One. Okay, we'll go to Kayla, then we'll come back to Courtney, and then we'll go to Mel.
Kayla, your turn.
All right,
okay, Logic.
Go ahead.
So most of the time when ladies are physically attractive, physically beautiful, you are liked because you look fuckable. Absolutely. Duh. What? What the fuck? When a man first sees you, like she said, there's no way he's thinking, she looks like we can work out conflict. It just doesn't make any sense. That's not how the men I've been around and that I know. That's just not the first thought when you see a beautiful woman, or when you're like getting to know them. Let's say in the first few times and speaking with them, and you making your judgment whether you like them, because it says you are liked, meaning people want you around. You are liked. And you are liked because they like looking at you.